It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to open the meeting. Start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yes, we need to approve the agenda, and for all practical purposes, there are two agendas, so I'm not 100% sure we need to approve the entire agenda, but we probably should approve the entire agenda in one.
And I will tell you that number 10 will not happen tonight. That has been moved to the 16th. That's the platinum.
May 16th.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we need a motion and second approval.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted with the exception of deleting item 10.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and approved, or seconded to approve the agenda with the exception of item number 10. Is there any discussion? Not? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And what about the minutes of April 4th and April 18th meetings?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for April 4th and April 18th, 2022.
I'd second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 4th and April 18th, 2022 council meetings. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? How about the warrants that for the month?
Did anyone have any issues? I would make a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the warrants for the month. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, it's with a little trepidation, I say we need to adjourn the old council. Mostly because we're going to lose one member that has been an integral part of the council for a long time. And obviously, we have a major thank you for Dave Larson for all of his just given time. I mean, good heavens. You talk about civic responsibility. It's the epitome of civic responsibility, what we've seen. And that's awesome. Thank you is not good enough. Because of that, we'd like to offer you something.
I can still call you, right?
Landon already had. Well, Mr. Mayor, if I could say a few words. Thanks to everybody for your support over the years. I'm quite proud of the things that we've accomplished as a city, and city council and mayor. And, everything seems to be going quite well, from the cemetery to the landfill and every place in between. We've upgraded the police equipment, the garage equipment. We've got a fine new event center up there, restaurant, golf course, clubhouse. Open house is this Friday. Hopefully everybody will be able to stop by. We still have some needs, but I'm confident that the city's in good hands. We're doing wonderful work.
Well, we will try to
Yeah.
continue what
You will
you,
do great.
You will be great in this.
don't be surprised if somebody contacts you on.
No, I know.
the occasion.
I was serious.
But like I said, thank you is not enough.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Yes. Shortest meeting ever.
Before you leave, you need to vote on one more thing.
Oh, yeah. You're not done
That's
yet.
right.
We need to move to adjourn.
No running to the door.
We need to move to adjourn the council as is.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
I'll second it.
And there's no discussion, so it can't pass, so. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, Mr. Larson, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that was 6:07 PM. And I'm gonna wait until it says 6:08, so about a half an hour from now, when it says 6:08. I've seen a lot of aldermen come and go. It's pretty poignant. It always is. At 6:08 PM, we are opening the new city council, and even though it doesn't say it, I would like to stand for the pledge of allegiance. I'm writing that in. I don't care if it's appropriate. I am a veteran. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I added 1A, Pledge of Allegiance, to the second portion there. New council, we have to have an oath of office for Darla Reppy, Ward 3. I believe that's right here. Okay, so Darla, no, there's actually 3 of them, but I was just going to go in order. So Darla is a 2-year term for Ward 3 alternate.
So you have to stand and raise your right hand. Okay. I state your name.
I, Darla Reppy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United United States
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Alderman
the duties of Alderman
in and for Ward 3
in and for Ward 3
for a 2-year term
for a 2-year term
for the city of
for
Alcester,
the city of Alcester,
Union County,
Union County,
South Dakota, to which the office
to which the office
I have been duly elected.
I have been duly elected.
Just need your signature.
I was gonna wait till the end. Rounding applause. Now we have Linda Talbot from Ward 1.
I state your name,
I, Linda Talbot,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Alderman
the duties of Alderman
in and for Ward 1
in and for Ward 1
for a 3-year term
for a 3-year term
for the city of Alcester,
for the city of Alcester,
Union County,
Union County,
South Dakota, to which office
to which office
I have been duly elected.
I have been duly elected. Put the S in there.
Oh, yes.
Is that okay?
Sure.
And we have one other alderman. That is Lucas Greason from Ward 3.
Welcome back.
All right, you stand and raise your right hand. I state your name,
I, Lucas Jerson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Alderman
the duties of Alderman
in and for Ward 3
in and for Ward 3
for a 3-year term
for a 3-year term
for the city of Alcester,
for the city of Alcester,
Union County,
Union County,
South Dakota,
South Dakota,
to which office I have been duly elected.
to which office I have been duly elected.
Nice. Now, applause for all of you. Thank you all.
I know.
Okay, so as exciting as that was, this next part is not so exciting. It's council committee, I guess, assignments, nothing changed. The only thing that changed was wherever it said Dave Larson, it now has a blank spot. And you'll see that now I have reworded it as Ward 2A or Ward 2B Alderman. So Ward 2A just happened to be Dave. Now you'll see there are a number of committees that have Ward 2A Alderman as chairman. For all practical purposes, like for instance the library and auditorium, the person that has the most seniority, that is Cindy Peoples, would be the chairperson until a Ward 2A Alderman was selected, at which time they would become the chair. And we're going to keep it this way until we feel that people feel kind of comfortable in their positions. And then we might move people around a little bit to give you a little more, I don't know, I guess, insight as to the other different committees and so on. So if nobody has any objections, that would be my, I guess, commission. So the document that you have on your desktop that has Dave Larson's name on it can be replaced with this one, and then we'll go from there. Which brings us to item number 4, alderman interviews if needed. And I don't see anybody from Ward 2 that might be interested, although,
I tried once.
yeah, I know, Chief, you did. And, you know,
You can't do both.
yeah, it's kind of a sticky subject. So, but honestly, I mean, we need to appeal to people in Ward 2 to say, you know, we need people to step up. So, but obviously, there's no interview needed. So now we need to elect council president, vice president, and I will tell you that one of the things that is going to have to be discussed, not in this meeting, but next meeting, is the fact that currently the mayor and the council president can sign in conjunction with somebody on the finance office, in the finance office, to sign paychecks or checks. There will come a time in the not too distant future when I will not be here at 12:30 on any Monday at all, ever. So when that happens, and I would say that's going to happen very soon, probably like next Monday it'll start. But that would mean that the following Monday, the president would have to sign the checks. However, I think that at that next meeting, we need to discuss the responsibility of this individual signing the checks. So, anyway, I open the floor to, I guess, anyone that wants to put forth their name or wants to nominate someone that would be council president.
Lucas?
I'm around most of the time, do that.
So I'm going to write that up here. Lucas. So you would call that a nomination then?
Anyone else that wants?
Are there any other nominations?
And I will make a motion to elect Lucas Dreesen as council president.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve or elect Lucas Dreesen as council president for the 2022-2023 year. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I get used to saying 4, yes. All right, then, pardon me, then we would need to elect a council vice president. That would require another nomination.
I would nominate Linda.
You don't want? Yeah, I was, I think the last time, wasn't it?
I believe so.
So,
Unless somebody else wants it.
I'm
You
not
don't
in
want it?
town. I'm not in town yet, so.
Well, as of June, the end of June, I will be retired, so.
You're not gonna do your.
I'm still doing tax business, but that's only in April, through
Okay.
January through April. Then I'll be,
A little more.
yeah.
Hopefully you get done by April.
Well, yeah, I'm not done yet. I have extensions, but it's close. Yeah, I would take it.
Well, so there's one nomination. Any other nominations?
I would make a motion to elect Linda Talbot as vice president of the city council.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and elect Linda Talbot as council vice president for the 2022-2023 year. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you both.
Mr. Mayor, I think we should go back and redo those emotions because the person
Yeah.
elected should abstain.
Should abstain, yeah, I didn't say that. I
Sorry.
just assumed.
That's fine.
So she-
Okay, we're going to move back to 5A. Motion to elect Lucas Dreesen as council president.
Do you want me to say it again?
That would be lovely.
Okay. I will make a motion to elect Lucas Reason as council president.
I'll second it.
All right, motion has been made to elect Lucas Dreesen as council president for the 2022-2023 year. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstained?
Abstain.
3 aye, 1 abstain. Good point, thank you. Okay, well then, we would also need to discuss the motion to elect a council vice president.
I would make a motion to elect Linda Talbot as council vice president.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve, or to elect, excuse me, Linda Talbot as council vice president. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed or abstained?
I abstain.
Thank you. Good.
And you can have both of them if you would like on the bank.
We don't even need to,
No, just put it in the motion.
oh. Oh, we're here. Excellent. Well, that's good. So, item number 6 will take care of what I was just discussing about the president versus just, or excuse me, just a president versus president and vice president on a signature card for the bank. You can see that it says motion to remove David Larson from all city bank accounts at Premier and add blank as a, it should say as the signers. But we can do it all in one fell swoop.
And in your motion, I would also have indicate Wanda and myself. And that way the bank, when they get the minutes, will know exactly who will be all on the account.
And of course, if Wanda is removed as an employee, the new person will just have to be
Yes,
installed.
we'll have to go through that again.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to remove Dave Larson from the city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Lucas Dreesen, Linda Talbot, and continue with Wanda Halverson and Pat Jerns as signers on all city accounts at Premier Bank.
Second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the removal of Dave Larson from all city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Lucas Dreesen and Linda Talbot, as well as Wanda Halverson and Pat Jerns on, or as the signers on all city accounts at Premier Bank. Is there any discussion? So are Lucas and Linda allowed to vote?
So you're gonna have to have them on.
We do have to?
I don't know how you can't.
This is gonna be interesting.
It is gonna be an interesting year.
Okay,
Okay.
so we cannot even move on this motion.
No, I mean, you can. I mean, they're gonna have to all vote. Otherwise, it'd be,
One has,
How about if,
one has to vote if Lucas is added. One has to
Motions,
vote.
how
one
about
you,
if we
one her.
make two separate ones then?
That's
One-
what I'm saying.
okay,
Then,
There
then
needs to
the-
be-
Then we would have three?
okay.
Okay. What, just have one for Lucas and then a different one?
Have a motion A and a motion B.
Right.
Okay,
So
so,
can one include you, let's say, and you two? And then you can
Yeah.
say.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Okay, so I'll make a motion to remove Dave Larson from the city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Linda Talbot, continue with Wanda Helverson and Pat Jerns,
excuse me, just a moment.
because they're on there already.
We already have a motion on the floor, which it's been seconded. We have to either vote on it or not. And if no one votes on it, then the vote
Okay.
dies.
Okay.
Okay.
So, we have a vote, or excuse me, a motion on the floor to remove Dave Larson from all city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Lucas Dreesen and Linda Talbot as the signers, as well as Wanda Halverson and Pat Jerns on all city accounts at Premier Bank. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so the motion died. Now, I'm sorry, Wanda, or excuse me, Darla. Yes. I looked at the word Wanda and they said Darla, or the other way around, whatever.
So now, all right. I make a motion to remove Dave Larson from the city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Linda Talbot, and also to continue to add Wanda Helverson and Pat Jerns as signers on the city accounts at Premier Bank.
I'll second
Okay, a motion has been made to remove Dave Larson from all city bank accounts at Premier Bank and add Linda Talbot as the signer, as well as Pat Jerns and Wanda Halverson on the city accounts at Premier Bank. Any discussion? If not, first of all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstained?
I abstain.
3 in favor, 1 abstained. Now, we would need a motion for that was Linda, that was the vice president. We would need a motion for the president to be added.
I'll make a motion to approve, to add Lucas Dreesen as a signer on all city accounts at Premier Bank.
I'll second.
Motion has been made to add Lucas Dreesen as one of the signers on the city accounts at Premier Bank. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained?
Abstain.
All right, I think that was done very well. Thank you very much. Now move on to number 7, public input.
I have public input. Two things. One, at the last meeting, there was a discussion concerning the wiring of the police truck. I did a little bit of research and talked to Mr. Doty, and the wiring that was done on that truck, the truck was purchased brand new, and the wiring at that time was done to add the radios and the lights and the sirens. That's what that wiring covered. So it wasn't fixed wiring, it was to add those things. And it was done by, and I forgot his last name and I didn't write it down, Zach was a police officer out of Hill City, South Dakota. And I can get that name to you guys so that you have that information. So it wasn't just some fly-by-night thing. The second thing is reviewing what you just went through. You should have probably designated that the signers cannot be just the 2 individuals from the finance office. It must be a council member and 1 finance office employee. You shouldn't have 2 finance office employees.
We've never
Sign it.
had that.
Yeah.
And we know that.
Yes.
We know
Well, but that
it's-
was not stated, so now it's stated for the record. So that's everything I have.
All right, well, we would move on to number 8, and we may have some information. I don't know if you,
I do.
okay?
So the necessary paperwork for 505 Ofsted was filed in the court system today. The owner of the property will be served hopefully yet this week. And at that time, there'll be 30 days of wait. And we should have the ability to move forward on cleanup and removal of that house in the first part of June.
That's the firehouse.
The firehouse, yep. And our code enforcement officer spoke with Sam on Friday, and there will be some action on the house on Iowa Street too that is in need of some attention.
All right. Anything else? If not, we'll move on to the chief of police. He's got an update for us. Pepper balls.
I got a few things. So I guess I made one too many copies.
And it actually can be good.
Really?
They're in your
Pepper balls, good.
some sort of something.
So some of those pepper balls are made out of glass?
So I'll explain some
Okay.
stuff for you guys, I guess. Let me start off with stats, I guess. I've been really busy, so, and then I did trees and it was supposed to go till noon and it ended up going till about 4:30. So I did not get you guys the Excel spreadsheet type. I gotta hand do that. So I will do that here and get it to Pat so she can email it out. And then I'll get it to Jordan over here. So had a few significant things. We had controlled substance in town. We also had a couple DUIs. We had a possession of a firearm by a convicted violent offender, which is a felon. Couple of things that were not in the city, which these pull off of. We had a couple of agency assists in Beersford, which included some bar fights. And then we also had a pursuit that ended right at the exit at Alcester with a stolen vehicle. So just so you guys are aware, those aren't on there, just because our city is not listed. The truck is in right now, getting the decals put on. It could have been picked up today, but then I got an email, he's like, it's giving me a little bit of a hassle to get the old ones off, so it was gonna take a couple extra minutes to get that done. So I guess I'll move on to the pepper ball system. I've been looking at, numerous things on another less lethal option for us. We do have our tasers. We have the option to carry pepper spray as well. I do not myself, because it's just, I guess I don't have it. But this less lethal option is a pepper ball system, which is pepper ball / CS gas. It gives us the option. It carries both.
Oh, nice.
So it gives us an option, and what I'm looking for is something where, we have somebody, who's farther away than 25 feet, which 25 feet is not very far, when you're talking about a taser. And to be honest, a taser, especially, I would say most of the year in South Dakota, can, be hindered quite a bit by thick clothing. So I was looking around, there's a few different options, but I felt this would be, an all-around best versatile tool for us to be able to use, for a resistive or a subject who's, I guess I don't have the words right now, but,
Subduing somebody,
just
yeah,
somebody who, puts anybody in imminent danger.
right.
So, I went ahead and wrote up a policy. I went through our attorney as well, I went through Sam. He went through it, fixed a couple words. I actually added in your packet, he wanted one more thing added, and that includes the glass breaking projectiles. I already had those in, so what that can do is if somebody's behind glass, we can actually get that, break the glass, so we can actually.
Oh, I see. So it's not that the pepper ball is
Nope.
glass, it can break the glass and go in and
So they're two different projectiles.
then, I see.
And so what he wanted is the magazines are gonna be color coded and labeled. I'll try to, do training and have a clearly different color of the magazine, and then also I believe I'm gonna put like a G on there, just to try to, lack of a better term, stupid proof it. We're gonna go through training with them as well. I kind of jokingly told Grayson that one to the chest is gonna be our training, but
So let me ask you a question regarding that. I mean, all joking aside, you've had to take a taser.
yeah,
Have you ever had to take a pepper ball?
no, but I've been pepper sprayed 3 times.
And so, now that's pepper spray, that's not CS gas. CS gas is quote unquote tear gas that we in the Army got full face.
Yep.
So, how was that? You know how it felt.
I mean, it hurt, yeah.
Did it debilitate you? I mean, would you have been like, okay, I give up? If you'd have been
The first
on
time,
PCP or meth or whatever?
and that, that's the thing is, we got some of these substances that you can, literally your pain tolerance, you have none.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
So that's, another reason why I started looking for other options, because I want, a tool in our tool chest, that we can possibly use, which is less lethal. And especially with things, the way they are in this country at this time. So,
Can I ask a dumb question? I don't know anything about this, but how big of an area, when you hit that person, how big of an area is affected? Because you don't want to be affected, so I don't understand it all.
so it's a longer range option.
Okay,
So I mean, it's a very fine powder is what it is.
So could the wind, if the wind was to their back, could it blow it into you? And
It
you
could.
could be debilitated too?
It,
I-
you know,
It's
as
theoretically possible.
theoretically,
know.
it's possible,
Okay.
but as, you know, this longer range option, that powder or liquid dispersion is gonna be, you know, dispersed in the
Dispersed?
air.
Okay, so it wouldn't be as strong by the time it got to you?
Yep, it'll probably make us cough, but, it's not gonna be debilitating.
When it's projected that way, I mean, even if the wind is coming this way, it's gonna try to go poof. So when it breaks,
Uh-huh.
it will cover him, even though he's that far away from me, poof, I shoot him, it's gonna cover him. He's gonna be crying.
Right.
His eyes are gonna be closed, his nose is gonna be running so bad, he won't even be able to breathe. He'll be on
So
his
you can do
knees.
this outside.
And then I can go around the
Okay.
cloud and,
Okay,
as the officer. And I mean,
Okay.
in theory, that's the way it should.
And I think Darla brought up a good point here is, you know, this is, I'd say most of the, you know, applications would be an outside scenario. So obviously it can be used indoors, but, you know, the application, most of the time I would say would be an outside scenario.
Same thing with the, I mean, more often than not, your taser, I mean, they're,
I mean, this is just, I don't know what happened, but I came through Beersford last night,
Yep.
and there was something really going on
Yep.
there. And I read on, when I got home, that somebody was at Casey's from Alcester and said that it was somebody, and they tried to run from the
Yep.
scene. So in a case like this, if they had run, you could have used this,
Yep.
correct? Is
Yep.
that kind of how I'm
That
understanding
that
that?
could be an application, otherwise, in the, you know, in the pursuit setting, they also, sometimes they'll just sit in their car and, or they'll get out of their car, go back to their car, and in that, you know, I've had multiple times where they do that, and in that scenario, it's like, why are you going back to your vehicle? And, you know, that's where these blast breaking projectiles get very, you know,
Okay.
if they're
Yeah,
going
if
back.
they've been back to their car, you
Yep.
could, okay.
what are the distances compared to a taser? I mean, you talk 25 feet.
So taser is 25 feet max. You know, will it go further? It can. Will you miss at 25 feet? Yes. You know, these are accurate at 60 feet. That's not saying they can't go up to 100 or more. So,
They're more of a projectile.
yep, it's basically.
There's no wire.
Yep, it's basically, you know, and I've looked, Beersford, I think they've implemented, less lethal beanbag rounds in their shotguns.
Yeah.
But obviously we traded ours in, so that's not an option at this point. And this is, you know, I spoke with Pat about our budget and it was within budget, so, you know, it's a lot cheaper than buying two less lethal shotguns. But it's also a very effective tool.
So I'm assuming we got 2 of these for each
Two of them.
vehicle?
Yes.
So what do they cost a piece?
300,
Like
300 and
335.
some, yeah.
Do these pepper balls ever expire if you don't use them?
It's a 2-year shelf life.
Okay. And that's in our budget to do this?
The
So-
things that we've already purchased this year came in under budget.
Okay.
So we're using that money that, what we thought the
Mhm.
price of the rifle or the guns would have been
Okay.
to do this.
Pretty similar to like a paintball gun.
It's
Very
basically,
similar,
it's
yeah.
basically a paintball gun, but, you know, instead of a paintball, it's a plastic projectile that is meant to explode on impact without any propellant.
Yeah.
But,
So when you get to 2 years, you could just use them to take out like 13 striped ground squirrels at the cemetery.
not on the record.
It's humane. I mean, they're not gonna die.
Guess has everybody read through the policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I just wanted to, read it out loud what I did add so everybody knows, which in paragraph 4, last 2 lines I added, glass breaking projectiles will be clearly marked with a tan colored magazine. And pepper ball / CS projectiles will clearly be marked with a blaze orange colored magazine.
So the glass breaking projectiles will still have the pepper / CS?
No, those are,
Just for glass then.
those are,
They just break the glass and that's it?
yep.
Oh,
So that is, and that's the point for 2 different magazines, as well as not just having a pepper ball gun mixed with everything else, and that's why I want it clearly marked, because obviously my intent is not gonna be to shoot somebody with a glass breaking projectile.
right. That's the most important thing.
Yep.
That would be less than desirable.
So you're gonna break the glass, let's just go with the scenario once, you're gonna break the glass. How, that glass is tempered, so is it going to go all the way through? Because side windows don't just,
Mhm.
how will it break a car window?
Well, it would, just like when you use a glass breaking tool, I'm sure it would, shatter into a million pieces and hold up. It may take another one to be able to create a hole,
Okay,
so.
The side windows, they pop anyway.
Yeah,
right?
they
Just
almost
the
explode.
windshield,
I mean,
that's
Unless
what-
they have tint.
yeah.
Yeah. And you already ordered these?
Yes.
I think it's good that I'm almost willing to say the blaze orange should be the glass breaking, almost to say, don't use this unless
Oh,
you're not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
That's
probably
more of
does
a
make
warning,
sense.
don't shoot a
Yeah.
human with,
Well, I think on the very back page,
I'll say it.
I don't want to call it a gun, because it's not a gun. I would say a marker or a compressed air canister, I guess.
There you go.
There's gonna be portions of it that will be blaze orange to clearly signify that it is a less lethal option.
yeah, that's good, Nancy. Yeah.
And, glass breaking projectiles aren't gonna be your main use of.
Right. You'll almost always have the orange, the blaze orange magazine in. Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions?
What does the ammo cost, or I'd say call it ammo, but what's that cost on average? Just come in a box of,
It comes in a box of 25,
okay.
and I believe it is $130 for 25 of them.
So the magazine can hold, how many of those?
20.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
and how much did you say the gun, whatever you want to call it?
The tool,
Yes, what was it?
335, right?
335, okay.
somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay.
And this used compressed air, so, and our fill option is we can go down to the fire station, so.
So you don't have to use CO2?
Don't have to have
Nice
any,
cartridge.
cartridges or, it's basically free at that point.
Sweet.
No specialized tools or anything,
Well, I don't know if we need any other discussion, and if so, we can. However, there's a purpose, policy, definition, procedures, and decontamination procedures document for you to review regarding the pepper ball guidelines. Is there any other discussion? If not, I would need a motion to approve those guidelines.
I'll make a motion to approve Police Policy Manual Update 3.35 Pepperball Guidelines.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the Police Policy Manual Update 3.35 Pepperball Guidelines. Is there any discussion at this time? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Electronic engineering quote regarding the wiring. And you obviously have had some contact with these folks regarding that wiring and the issues therein.
So the issues is our aftermarket wiring is what I would call it, which includes our radio, our cameras, our lights, our sirens, everything that a police car has. Somewhere there's some fault to it. During the winter time, it is very apparent that there is a drain on the system. So basically, if there's an emergency or anything where our officer, whoever has the pickup has it, would have to jump start the vehicle, which is not only can be hard, but detrimental to this equipment. We've been dealing with it for a year and a half or so. We've replaced one battery, trying to see if that was it. We've gotten a new radio installed to see if that was it. I've talked to them while we were down there. They said the only way that they would be able to completely know that they have fixed it is to rewire that, and that includes because it was done by a different entity. I'll just say entity. I know it was done by a friend of our old chief's, which he does some hot springs vehicles, I don't know, but down there, they've never seen the master switch that's put in it, and then they also don't know the wiring diagram at all. So a complete rewire would need to be done to make sure that this problem is fixed. Which I believe the last time I talked to him, it was she kind of gave me a rough guesstimate of $1,200. Now, I don't see a surprise in the increase of $400 extra with the way inflation is, and actually going through and talking with their individuals and making sure that they get, the quote right.
Everything done.
Yep.
Well, obviously, the truck is worth just a little more than $1,600 to the city of Alcester. I would, I guess, welcome any discussion that you folks have regarding this. I think it's academic if we say we should have, or could have, or would have done something different. So I just say we need to either fix it or else we just live with it. Now, living with it doesn't require a motion. Fixing it does.
Yeah, but they have to keep it running. And gas is right.
That's right, with the price of gas.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
So, I
saying.
mean,
So,
it's like,
living with it is expensive, so is gas. I mean, so is fixing it. It's up to you. But we would need a motion to move on.
I will make a motion to approve the police truck wiring quote from Electronic Engineering in the amount of $1,600 out of the general fund.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the police truck wiring quote from Electronic Engineering totaling $1,600 coming from the general fund. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I didn't even have an option to ask, but how's Officer Lass doing? I mean,
I believe he is over 2/3 of the way done. He has a little less than 5 weeks left.
does he feel good about what he's doing?
Yep. He's learning a lot, so, which,
That's why he's there.
yep, that's exactly it, so. 5 more weeks.
Good luck, Chief.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, item 10 has been forwarded to next meeting. Item 11, Alcester Fairgrounds.
Well, I guess Lynn, Darla and I had a meeting with the commissioners, county commissioners, and a couple of the fair board members. And there definitely is no decisions have been made. The FCS guy was there also, and he had a presentation for us, and had kind of mentioned what they were thinking about doing. And I guess it's kind of on the table on what's gonna possibly happen. I think the next step is to have the fair board members kind of draw what a replacement fairground would look like, a blueprint, and then kind of see what that is going to cost to replace it, and then meet again, and that would be the next step.
And one of the things that I think we've talked about in the past was to make sure that that step is not circumvented before tearing down anything. I mean, it's got to be built. When you build it, then you tear down the rest of it. I assume that's the plan.
Yeah, that might be our plan.
Well, I kind of gathered from the FCS guy that he wants it to be a win-win-win situation for everybody. But I don't feel that way. You know, I gathered that it's all about them, and I kind of straight out said it right to him.
That's good. That's
Because, I
what
mean,
you're there for.
You know, it's, when he's talking about, you know, having the citizens do some fundraising and get some donations to get this new fairgrounds replaced, you know, I didn't really feel that that's what the meeting was for. And I mean, we don't have the fairgrounds advertised for sale. And I definitely don't think that everybody wants to start paying higher taxes to get a fairgrounds replaced. Now, to say that, you know, it would be nice to have a new fairgrounds with some updates and have a building that we could host more events, have some indoor car shows or something throughout the year or something else, yeah, that would definitely be a good asset. But in the same sense is, you know, I think it's gonna be a $3 to $5 million project myself, you know, by the time.
And they would not commit on any number.
I did ask him, what do you feel our fairgrounds is worth? And I asked twice and never did get an answer out of it.
And it would have to be put up,
And, you know,
what was it?
and the deal is, and I straight out said it to them, I believe they want it by the end, fall of 2023. They want possession. But I strictly really felt that it's not what the county commissioners and the city of Alcester is gonna get for a check. I feel that the new fairgrounds should be replaced at their expense, and then they can take over the fairgrounds.
Or at least, I'm not saying totally at their expense, let's say 75%. And that's an arbitrary number,
Yeah,
but let's say 75% their expense and 25% other.
Sure.
Whatever other means, I don't care what that means. But what I'm saying is, there has to be some stake in the ground that says, if you have this commitment that you want to take this fairgrounds, you need to pony up.
And he straight out said, you know, that our businesses and our corporation is all about making money, and that's what we need to
He said
do.
that.
And if we can't make money and we can't expand, we will go elsewhere. And we don't have 2 to 3 years to do this.
Yeah, he said that.
We need to move out.
That's understandable,
You know-
that's fully understandable, and that's well within their right. But we're not gonna lose money just at their expense.
Right.
So,
And he did kind of mention that it could take, you know, he says, you guys need a focus of a 5-year plan. And the 5-year plan would be, you know, this first year, up to the 3rd year, you would have this. And then up to the 5th year, maybe you could have that. Well, initially, we have a turnkey fairgrounds now.
right,
You know, we can't have it where, yeah, we're half set up, we got our new fairgrounds, here's the keys, or, you know, here's the possession of the old one.
right.
That's not how this works. I really feel the new one needs to be completely
So
done.
then my answer to him is, they need to have a 5-year plan. For the first 3 years, you're only gonna lose this much money,
Yep.
and the next 2 years, you'll make a little bit and a little bit more. But you're gonna lose this much money because you're gonna pay to put the new fairgrounds in.
Correct.
And we've got every right to say that just as much as they do.
It-
But what we
We,
have to
meaning the
know
entire county. I'm not talking about the
tonight
city.
is, they want to know before we can go any further, even anything, that the city will give their money from the fairgrounds to the fairgrounds. It won't go somewhere else.
So Milt was.
He
I
said,
won't-
we gotta have that commitment from the city.
Oh heavens, why
I
would,
said, well, I've never heard it.
why would
wouldn't
we
be.
not?
Well, so right now what you have is county buildings on city grounds.
You know,
Yeah.
Right,
What you're going to have if you go out there is you're going to have partial city buildings on county grounds.
not all, isn't, okay,
It's not in city
Did-
limits.
okay, but we own the property that is adjacent to what would be called the old steakhouse
Yes,
area.
yes.
So that's city property.
It's an industrial board property, but yes,
Okay.
but it's not in the city.
But I think their biggest concern was that, because it's gonna have to be surplused, wasn't it?
Correct.
And then it's going to have to be bid, is that
Yep.
what it was?
It's gonna be advertised.
No
as a
matter if
sealed
it's
bid.
us or the county, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
the process it will
Yeah.
have to be. And they just don't want us as a city to, all of a sudden you get this money and then we say, oh, we're gonna go fix the streets.
Oh, heaven's sake.
And I said, no, but that's why we had to have put it on the agenda tonight, because we have to tell them that.
Correct.
That is the biggest.
Who wanted that?
No,
The
the-
county?
The commissioners do. They want the commitment from the city.
Okay. Well,
So that's where, that is the next step, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
they-
before even the fairgrounds.
Even they haven't looked at, that the city will give the money. I mean, that's not saying they're gonna automatically do it.
No,
but
of
they
course
gotta-
not,
They
but-
want our back.
we're
Back.
gonna back them as much as they're gonna back us.
Right,
Let's put it that
we're
way.
in it together, basically.
In the
So I don't
question,
know how to handle that.
Just, I think an agreement would need to be drawn up, that
By the
says-
lawyer, maybe?
Yes, that says, if, at this point, you're willing to put the funds, if you're willing to put 100% of the funds, reinvest it in the fair at the new location, but if at some point in time, the fair is no longer here, or if there is a change of some sort, that
And you, yeah.
it will come back
To the city. Now, that would make sense.
That makes sense.
Yes.
I'm sure Sam would make sure of that.
Is this something we vote, the council makes the decision, or is this?
Yes, because It's no different than what you did with the golf course
Okay.
extra property. If
Just-
you're willing to let it go,
It just seems like
and you surplus it.
there's an
and-
awful lot of people affected by this, that just not us four. I mean, that's a lot.
I mean, now
That's a
you're,
good point.
And honestly, I don't think I can vote. I have probably a conflict of interest.
Because of the property there.
If I may have permission to speak?
Go ahead.
I spoke with Commissioner Joffer. One of the things, and as you mentioned, I have a business that's on South Street. What FCS does with that property after it's handed over will affect me, and it will affect the residents of the city.
Yeah.
Their particulate that goes into the air, and that the council needs to address that before anything is done and have it cemented, because people, you can't have your windows open or whatever when they're processing
Exactly
that.
what you
I
had
asked
brought up
that.
already.
And not
And
Yeah.
I'm
just
sure
the
that that's,
sound is one thing, but
The
she's talking
particulate.
about
Yeah,
the smell.
dust,
I'm telling
dust,
you, if you
smell,
walk by there,
whatever,
it's so awful
I know.
sometimes.
And you want to
I
have
don't
that.
think it's healthy.
You want to have that cemented in. The other thing is that, I'm not totally sure, I know the comment was made about the businesses contributing. The thing is that if they expect the folks from Elk Point to contribute to something that's in Alcester, you better be ready for an initiative, a referendum, because they'll come out and they'll have signatures, and then you'll have that to contend with. So be aware of what bad things could possibly happen.
exactly what I said to begin with. I said, they're not going to cost us money to
Right.
do this. I can imagine
said
that we would
that.
donate some money, but,
Yeah.
okay.
And we
So-
weren't the only ones that said
And that- and the
that. More
question-
people
yeah.
did too.
And the question did get brought up, when you get possession, what are you going to do first thing? And that is, they're gonna build a big flat storage.
Soybean.
Soybean building, kinda like Beersford has,
Right,
something very similar to that.
the hip roof, and, yeah.
And a big scale.
Yeah, and in and an out, new scale house, and I think,
So technically speaking, that will actually help the
That's what they
particulate,
that's what they
particulate
say.
and the smell.
That's what they
It
say.
will help to a certain extent. I'm not saying it'll be perfect, but it'll be better than it was. Now, that's a good step in the right direction.
If they
But
do.
again, I
If
think
they
she's
do.
right. We
Right.
need to know,
That's
we
right.
need to
They do it.
know particulars. We need to know, how big is this gonna be? Is it gonna have a berm around it? Is it gonna have a roof over it? Is it gonna be completely enclosed? Is it not? Is it gonna be just with those tubes and the tarp over the top? I mean, it's all important.
The other concern is that road, South Street. We have semis going through every 30 seconds
Yeah.
on that gravel road. That kicks up a lot of dust.
Yeah.
And we've got
That's
the
what
the
city-
culverts.
That's
So
a-
if you
that's
have
a county-
issues with that, you need to
that's
go
a
to
county
the
road.
county.
You betcha I will be, because I'll have one of the referendums and I'll be passing it around. Because, like I said, this affects our business. This stuff gets in there, and like I said, we've got semis going once every 30 seconds on that
But
street.
if they put the in and out scale in, the semis will go back to the hay sale road.
Yep, that's fine if it's just their trucks, but some of the farmers don't
But at
listen
some
to
point,
what
they'll
they're.
probably go on our road.
Yeah.
No one has ever maintained that but us.
Yeah.
County, no one has put anything ever on our road. So I have a conflict.
And then we have a waterway that the DNR will have, because if they block that down there with grain or whatever, and that backs up, they're liable. And you should know that.
Well, it's obvious that item 11 has 2 points. A, discussion, B, motion. B, goodbye. A, discussion,
Unless you want Sam to draft some sort of an agreement.
I don't know that we, do we want? I don't.
well, I don't know if we're
I mean,
ready for
I will
that.
be quiet.
That is the next step.
That's the next step.
that's
They need
asked
to
of
know,
us.
right, Lucas?
correct, they need to know if we're going to put money forward
money
if
forward.
it goes
If it
there.
would go to that point.
Okay, so I can see where we could have discussion with our legal
Yeah, that's what I think we
advisor
need to do.
to say, what is our best step to let them know?
Yeah.
We're not gonna oppose as long as, excuse me, it's not detrimental financially to the city or detrimental to the county.
But don't they have to
Detrimental
do the same thing back to us?
They should.
Because they own, so if we're gonna work together, to me, there's gotta be two sides.
Well,
not just
I'm
us.
sure they got lawyers.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
So that's what I'm wondering, if they're jointly, they don't have
Our
to
lawyer will
come
talk
up
to
with
their
something.
lawyer and then they'll come
Yeah.
up with
I think
a
jointly
bunch of legal
something has to be.
gobbledygook. that- But I think that's a good point. That's all just discussion. That's not a motion item. That's just, we need to have Sam
That's why we
do
didn't know
some
how to do it. We
investigating.
knew we had to talk about it, but we
Right.
didn't know what. Because that's what they asked us at the end. I mean, the meeting was not heated. It was a lot of opinions,
That's good.
but,
That's what it should have been.
and that's how they want it to be.
Commissioner Joffer made it sound
Yeah,
like
and
things,
it was
and there was a
very-
major commitment on their part, he
Yeah.
said,
Yeah,
that the fair would remain in Alcester.
yeah.
Or let's say near Alcester. If it's just south of that, it won't be in Alcester, it will be next to Alcester.
But the town is, there is so much, I don't know about you, Lucas, but some days I can hardly, it is, there
A
is
buzz.
very,
Yes.
there is
they're
very, very,
opinionated on where they don't want this happening.
yeah. It's, I got approached yesterday at church again, and telling me, you watch your legal.
Well,
So that's why,
That's why I think this step is important, but we're not even gonna make a motion. We're just
No.
gonna tell him, hey, watch our back.
I-
Let's get our back up.
I think it would be good to make a motion because you're gonna be spending taxpayer dollars to have Sam create that document. So I think it would be a motion to approve Sam working with the Union County attorney to draft a joint
Resolution.
operating agreement or.
Meet to discuss. That's what I would recommend, is have the two attorneys meet to discuss the situation, not to draw
I don't
anything
wanna
up.
be
Right,
just
I-
say that we are doing it.
Right,
Right.
yeah,
Well, no,
I think
I
they
agree.
should meet and discuss it, I do too. I think that makes sense.
So,
So
that being said,
I'll make a motion to ask Sam for legal discussion with, what would you call them? Union County Commissioners, or Union County Commissioners, or attorneys,
Probably the state's.
to discuss the fairground
and
project.
would the,
Perfect.
excuse me a moment.
Does that make sense? I don't want commitment.
You're right.
I don't want discussion.
I thought project is a good word.
Yeah, I think so too.
So your motion said to approve our city attorney to contact the Union County attorneys. What about the FCS attorneys?
No, we're protecting our assets.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they will meet together, the two of them will have to get together. after that.
Feasibility.
Approve, your motion was to approve that our attorneys, Sam Nelson, would contact the Union County Commission attorney.
To discuss the fairground project, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
That motion was made by Darla.
I'll second that.
Now, motion has been made to approve the Alcester City Council attorney to contact the Union County Commission attorney, which I assume would be the state's attorney,
They did say that, I think, it is a state's attorney.
to discuss the fairground project. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Finance office updates.
This is the motion to approve paying for the 2021 audit and the funds, the prospective funds that it comes out of. It's always 50% out of general fund and 25 and 25 out of water and sewer.
We can do this last week?
I think I just mentioned that it was coming. But, and I will, in our next meeting, I will have our letter of engagement, I think for the 20. Oh, yes, this is for the 2021 audit. I
And the
haven't
other
done it
was,
yet. Yeah, the other was
that's
the
what I was
2020.
wondering, if that's what it was,
Yes,
okay.
so this would be
Because
the,
we were behind, they
Correct.
didn't get us,
Yep.
okay.
That's true.
correct.
I just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
sorry about that.
Okay. Okay.
And for what I will do for next year, for 2022 audit, I will seek quotes earlier in the year.
Okay, so you can see that the Quam, Berglund and Post 2021 audit is $9,000, $4,500 of which should be coming out of the general fund, $2,250 out of the water fund, $2,250 out of the sewer fund. I would need a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve paying Quam, Berglund and Post for the 2021 audit, $4,500 out of the general fund, $2,250 out of the water fund, and $2,250 out of the sewer fund for a total of $9,000.
I'll second
Motion's been made to approve the Quam, Berglund and Post 2021 audit. $4,500 out of the general fund, $2,250 out of the water fund, and $2,250 out of the sewer fund, totaling $9,000. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Annual report.
So I know this is a lot to look at, but after you are familiar with a few audits, this is very similar to an audit. This is just an unaudited version. This is my unaudited version of 2021, which has to be submitted to the Department of Legislative Audit. So I will go through it relatively quickly for you.
For a moment.
Yes, sir.
So this is not a bad document to hang on to when the audit comes around. So you can, I mean, if you look at it and they're apples to apples, guess what? The audit's on track and so is this. So, anyway.
And I would have felt more comfortable on saying that last year, because I never got any journal entries from the auditors. This year is a little bit challenging because of building that building and construction costs and the work we did on, preliminary work we did on sewer, so it's a little bit,
That's true. It might be a little bit more hairy, but still, it's a good comparison. I mean, so.
it is. And it will also make more sense after you go through a budget process too. It does all tie together. So page 2 is what we call our fund balance report. You've got our bank balances, you've got, and these are as of December 31st of '21, and then you've got the fund balances. And they don't necessarily have to be the same, because it's just a question of when checks were cleared and that kind of thing. You have a list of our bonds that we have and the remaining value on them and when they mature. And then you have the revolving loans to the city.
Can I ask a question on that? The Alcester Steakhouse, now what happens to that now?
He
Since that's
will,
not sold?
yeah, he will.
He will pay that?
He
Okay.
has already made a connection with
Okay.
us. So, and keep in mind, this is as of December.
Yeah, no, I just wondered what
Yeah.
would happen.
Very good question.
Because
That's
it
the
wasn't-
same one I had.
Due for a while, so.
Correct. The statement of net position, that's the next page, that is really just a snapshot of net worth at any given time, which, again, the given time is December 31st. So you have the governmental activities and the business type activities. Governmental is all your general fund items. Business type is our four enterprises: water, sewer, garbage, golf. So,
Water, sewer, garbage, golf. That's kind of an interesting combination.
oh, so that kind of represents all of the city, or all of the assets within the city, if you would total them up. Okay. Page 4, it just kind of breaks down the revenue out of general fund and second penny that the city receives in a year's time. So you see what we charge for services. You see if we got any grants in, any capital contributions, which in this case would have been monies received for the community center. And then the general revenues such as property taxes, sales tax, things the government gives us as shared revenue, and then miscellaneous items. So, page 5, the statement of activities. This is also a snapshot showing you the expenses associated with, you'll see the government activities on the top and your water, sewer, garbage, and golf or enterprise funds on the bottom. And the second column then is the revenue received from each of those areas. And then again, the operating grants and capital contribution grants. And then on the bottom half of that, the general revenues, again, breaks out property taxes, sales tax, state share taxes, and any special or unique items that happen. And so CWIP is our construction work in process. So it's things pertaining now to the sewer plant and community center.
What was that?
It's pertaining to the sewer plant and community center.
CWP is the acronym for construction work in process.
So Exhibit 3 is the balance sheet for general fund items. And that is 3 pages long. Or 2 pages, sorry. So that's pages 6 and 7. Page 6 says the assets. Page 7 is liabilities and equity.
Amazingly enough, they both equal.
I know. That's always a good thing.
That's good.
Schedule 4 is revenue and expenses and any changes in those fund balances for general fund, second penny, the library revolving loan fund. And that is pages 8, 9, and 10.
So obviously, if you took 8 and 9 together, they should equal 10,
Correct.
bottom line.
Well, it'll be there. It's actually schedule number 4 ties back to schedule.
You're right, it can't be.
No. Schedule 4 and Schedule 5, or Schedule 3 and Schedule 5 tie it together.
To come up with the ending fund balance.
Correct.
Yeah, I see.
Then, page 12 and 13 is your schedule 5, but that is for, enterprise funds. So again, water, sewer, garbage, golf course.
Starts with 11, right? 11, 12, so on.
Oh, yes, 11, 12, sorry. The statement on page 14 is called the RSI statement, and that is on 14, 15, and 16. This is our original budget that was adopted, and where those areas where original and final are different is where the supplemental budget came into play. And then you compare that to your actual amounts. So this is the reason why we need to do the supplemental budget.
Right at the end of every year, we have to kind of make things balance so that nothing's negative, you know?
And then you have Schedule 6 on page 17, which is the proprietary funds, which are enterprise funds. And this is where you get to see how the fund changed through the course of the year. So you had your revenue, you had your expenses, you had any non-revenue items or non-expense items, and how that adjusted the fund, did it go up or down through the course of the year. Page 18 is our long-term debt. You have your beginning balance at the beginning of the year of debt, any debt that was added, any debt that was paid off. And those amounts are principal only, not interest. And where the ending debt is at year end, whether it's governmental or enterprise. And then I list what the bonds are down below with their maturity rate and maturity date. 19 is the statement of cash flows, again, just for enterprise funds. And this shows non-cash items as well as cash items and how that affects cash flow. And then what's really page 1, but I put it on the end, is a summary of everything that we just went through, and this is what will go in the paper.
So this document, I think, would be a very good tool for any individual that might be on the Finance and Budget Committee, or any individual on the council that's interested in the Finance and Budget Committee, that might want to be on that committee, that is currently not on the committee. I'm not saying that somebody needs to move on to that, but I'm just saying, you know, we need to keep track of this. So this is a good tool. It's a very, very good tool. It's what eventually turns into one of these.
That is correct.
Kind of at the end of, maybe it takes 2 years for these folks to get around to it, but it's nice because eventually, if she goes to jail, this is the document that's gonna, and I don't
Thank
need
you
to.
for that support.
You know, what I'm saying is, it hasn't happened, and it hasn't happened because we get these all the time, and she knows it. And so, we're trying our best. Let's keep trying our best. We would need a motion, or, excuse me, if there's any other discussion regarding the annual report, we can do so at this time. Otherwise, we would need a motion to approve the annual report.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 annual report.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the 2021 annual report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All beverage licenses. Looks like we've got 3 of them. Be the Quick Stop up on top of the hill, Total Stop, and the Alcester Municipal Golf Course. We would need motion not only to approve those malt beverage licenses, but to allow me to sign the alcohol purchase agreements.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 malt beverage license and allow Mayor Hader to sign alcohol purchase agreements.
I'll second.
Motion's been made to approve the 2022 to 2023 malt beverage license for Alcester Quick Stop, Total Stop, and Alcester Municipal Golf Course, and allow Mayor Hader to sign the alcohol purchase agreements. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on to reminders and updates. And we're going to have a grand opening May 6th.
What time is that
5 to 8.
from? 5 to 8? Okay.
And then we have some people, we're gonna have a small program at 6 o'clock. So it's really appetizers. Johnson Brothers is gonna come down and do the wine sampling and the wines that we have at the clubhouse. We'll have a table set up for if people wanna pay their golf dues, because the the deadline to do that before, for the current rates, before they go up is May 15th. And we do have Joy Henderson, her phone. And she said with her band, so I'm assuming I'll be Brian as well.
Nice. There's also a Mother's Day bunch. It says brunch,
Oops, yeah.
bunch. but
Sorry about that.
It's a brunch, May 8th, yeah. And the graduation is May 14th. Our city council meeting will be May 16th at 6 p.m. Last day of school is May 17th. Can you believe that? I mean, it's hard to believe. If you think about this, and I know people are not happy to hear this, but we're only talking about like a month and a half and the days start getting shorter.
No, I don't want to hear that.
Most people don't like that. Yeah.
I want some warmth.
Yeah, I know, I know. Memorial Day is May 30th, and of course, the office will be closed, and we should remember all of the fallen, all of the past. Pool's gonna open June 1st. That's cool. Or-
It could be cool.
Might be cooler than it should be, but. As far as an HRC update, the only thing I can tell you for sure is that we've had some dialogue with Gordon regarding affordable housing. We are going to continue having more dialogue with Gordon, and I do know for a fact there's an HRC meeting scheduled. Now, that meeting is scheduled to happen on the 19th of May.
No, the 5th.
It's this week. It's
It's
Wednesday
Cinco
at
de
5.
Mayo. No, Thursday.
Well, what?
Is it, yes, it is Thursday. Yes.
Most recent,
That's the most recent thing I got from him.
I got it just last week.
Just today, did you get an update today?
well,
I
it
got-
might have, and it might not be on here.
No.
I'm not sure.
What was that?
Oh, you're saying.
What did I break? Oh,
You dropped a
No, you
name.
didn't break anything.
Let me
It's your name.
see,
I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I'm looking at old emails, so
let's see, oh, I probably deleted it.
I'll,
I'm sure I got one today from him when I was,
I got mine on Thursday.
yeah, but then today he sent me something else. He said I did confirm,
Okay.
and maybe it was just to confirm it. Let's see, I'm getting close.
well, we will figure out what day that meeting will happen.
I didn't know anything about the 19th.
I'll just be there.
I did not get any email from them today.
I know I did, because I deleted him. Because I had it already on my calendar.
What's that?
I'll keep looking.
Okay, that's fine. We're gonna have a meeting in the near future, and I do know that connection between all of the entities regarding affordable housing, et cetera, is part of the discussion. It's
Here it
gonna
is,
be-
I got a text. I got a text. I did schedule a quick meeting for 5 at 5.
Okay.
5 at 5 p.m.
And it's here.
right here in.
And he said a quick meeting, so I'm hoping he's right.
Yeah, whatever, okay. So we are going to bring up that, and we'll at least get back to you, and hopefully we'll get this gelled so that we can actually start having more dialogue regarding affordable housing. The other thing we have to discuss is a new plat that is done for the fourplex on Lee Drive, and the opening that now is unit 313, I believe, on Lee Drive is now open. So I think in the not too distant future, there will be change of ownership, but we have no way of knowing that. All we can do is say that's probably in the not too distant future. So to be dialogue. It's just like the fairgrounds. I mean, there are too many people that are willing to just jump up and down and scream and holler. And we just need to settle down and discuss it and get our ducks in a row and then make it good for as many people. Win, win, win. Isn't that what he said? Win, win, win.
Yeah, win-win.
Not win-win, not win, but win, win, win. That's FCS, that's county, that's city.
Yep.
So, same thing here. It's gotta be a win, 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 win situation. So, that's what we're working on. That's all I got for the HRC update. How about the Fair Board?
We're having a rodeo again. Yep.
Oh, rodeo.
We had, in fact, we had 2 rodeos present at our
So
fair
will
board.
these be different than last year?
We are gonna go, we voted to go with the same one.
So it's actually the bull riding.
Yeah. There
It's
was
not-
another one that was maybe
A little better?
Bronco,
better,
Bronco
but-
busting and all this other stuff and.
but that came with a little bit better cost.
Sure.
I'm sure
Okay.
Well, and I don't think we have this.
We don't have the facility.
to have that.
We're really working on getting more big bleachers. Bleachers is an issue.
Oh, yes, I agree.
So
Both
let's,
side bleachers.
so let's not do that now. Let's do that.
Well, I really think that's why it got voted to the one we had last year. Because the commissioner did say we're kind of on a tight budget. So,
Well, but my point is, I mean, if we had more real estate, if we have more real estate to deal with, we could build a tractor pull area that would envy everybody.
Yeah.
We could make this the
One of the
Clay
biggest-
County Fair in Iowa.
Well, I
In
think our
Union
tractor
County.
pull is one of the biggest around,
yeah.
don't you think?
And our biggest fight down at the fairgrounds is the revenue we lose because of the fence issue.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
So we're hoping that bleachers will help us with that, because
Mhm.
we potentially have an option to get
Some fairly good price out of Nebraska.
5-row bleachers.
Oh.
They were looking into it.
Hmm.
So we have the tractor pull, we have almost all of our entertainment, there's just some smaller entertainment that we haven't committed to yet.
Right. A couple of them can do it, or some changes.
Yep.
Well, I'm not saying we want to rival the Huron State Fair, but, I mean, a Ferris wheel, I mean, merry-go-round, I'm not saying
I
this
know.
year, I'm saying
In the
somewhere
future.
down the line.
Yeah.
If we could do that kind of thing, I mean, again, it would
Yeah.
just slowly grow into, it could be,
The liability insurance is pretty high for that.
well, that's
That,
true, but,
well, what, years ago, what broke that is, we had a fair coming and they never showed up. And we lost all that money.
all the
They never
amusement group,
came. Yeah. So, I don't know.
There's probably less of those companies that do that now than there used to be too.
Probably.
sure. Especially for a county fair, small county fair, yeah. But still, I mean, it's encouraging. You saw what the rodeo did last year,
Yeah,
and
and they
everybody
did.
saw that.
And I think the
everybody-
commissioners took that.
We're encouraged by
Because we
that.
didn't really make money. So
No,
they-
I'm sure
They
not.
had to fill in, but
Still,
But it
it
was the first year.
was
and-
encouraging, yeah.
like the one guy from Canton said, he usually has the tickets sold to pay for it before it starts. And see,
Oh.
that is what would be ideal. So everything that you make there is,
That would be
Above.
nice.
Cream,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
but we got a
Did
ways
they
to
do
go.
that? Did they sell those last year ahead of time?
No,
No,
I
we
didn't
did
think
not, we
so.
took it all at the gate.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but that would make sense.
yeah. But his purse and stuff was quite a bit bigger, which attracts more.
Oh, sure, higher caliber.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are things that we learned last year
Yeah,
that we're gonna apply this year,
yeah,
and hopefully get more barrel races.
yeah.
We just, you don't hardly have room for,
See, that room is an issue down there.
Yeah.
Instead of what was it, 6 gates, Pat, we can really only fit 4.
Yep,
okay.
You know,
Yeah,
that's part of our, and sponsorships, you know, that was part of the before sales too. Your sponsored, big sponsors, well, we didn't get big sponsors. So, you know, it's all things we gotta work on.
the other thing that was probably the biggest drawback of not having the gentleman from Canton is he requires the grounds to be disced up by 7 o'clock the next morning. So you have the tractor pull that
The
goes
night
until
before.
midnight or 2.
Oh, my.
And then you've
Yeah.
gotta have somebody back there to get those
Uh-huh.
grounds tilled up by 7 and be
Yeah.
done by 7, because they'll be on the ground setting up.
He's the one with the better one then.
Yeah,
Something to consider for,
yeah,
Years
it's
to come.
something we talked about, we would really like to try it.
Yeah,
We
we
gotta
really
get,
would.
but he's still a lot more.
we gotta be a little more ready.
No, it was our first year last
It was,
year.
Yeah.
and it was,
You never
it was
know where
fun.
this
It
is all
was
gonna
fun.
go. It could be,
Right.
I mean, I know there are a lot of people that are against the fair moving and all this other good stuff, but it might be the best thing for it. You don't know that.
No,
It will open
it's
up
so much
doors.
unknown.
You
That's
don't
the
know.
problem.
It could be,
But a lot of people walk down there.
that's the major disadvantage that I can see.
I mean, we don't ever drive down there. We
Yeah.
always walk, and we could park at our shop, but we always just
Went
walk
right
there.
from Custom Coils
Yeah.
to eat lunch, I mean,
Yeah.
Alcota.
Yeah.
Now, if it's only another, I don't know, 300 feet or 600 feet or whatever, it's only a few blocks, but still, you're right. So, but we're speculating right now,
Right.
so. But good to hear that they're still
Yeah.
planning on the bull riding, et cetera, rodeo.
And it will be pork supper this year.
yep, we're gonna go back to work.
Yeah.
And that pretty much is usually all donated by somebody in Sioux City. I'm not sure which one it is.
What'd you have last year?
We had beef.
Beef. And that was, it was harder. to
I heard a
serve.
lot of people complain that
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
tough.
tougher.
Uh-huh.
And it was harder to serve.
It is harder,
Huh.
So.
but
Well, anything else for the fair that you can think of right now, or? If not, we'll move on to item 15, executive session if necessary.
I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2 parentheses 1, personnel.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parent 1. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? (7:48 PM). Well, it is 8:17 PM. We're out of executive session, and the only thing left is motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn the council. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned also at 8:17 PM.
That's pretty good.
For a three-page agenda.
Yes, that's what I thought.